T-tracks and clamps take a little bit extra setting up, but basically you put in the T-tracks onto your wasteboard and it gives you a track where you can mount bolts and clamps to the wasteboard itself so that you can use to mount your material to the machine. Here's a short clip where Scott shows you how to mount a T-track to the wasteboard.
There are lots of options out there for workbenches. It doesn't matter if you're starting from scratch or MacGyvering something to make it work. I'll post a link to the workbench and T-track resources on our website. A couple of tips. Clamps are your friends when doing this. Pre-drilling will save you fits of rage, and making it as square as possible will save you a lot of headaches in the long run. When you order the T-tracks kit, it comes with everything you need other than the MDF strips and screws to hold it down. Before I marked or measured anything, I used 2 F-clamps to hold the strip down to the base. That way nothing moves around while you're marking and measuring everything out. So just like we did for the base sheet of MDF, you're going to want to mark and measure your locations. The difference is you're going to see these screws, so I made sure that everything lined up nice. The great part about the clamps that come with the T-track kit is that they're made from 1/4 inch 20 hex head bolts versus T-bolts that are commonly used. Another great part is that they're cheap and easy to find in different lengths, so if you want to customize your own clamps, it's easy enough to do. The T-tracks and clamps are easy enough to use. Simply slide your bolt head into the T-track, position your clamp over your workpiece. Spin the red handle down to snug to your workpiece. Then make sure the bolt side is higher than the handle side to provide enough tension to hold it all in place. Use as many clamps or other work holding methods necessary to make sure it's held down securely. And last but not least, pay special attention to where your tool path is going to carve so that your bit and your clamps don't get too cuddly.
Look out!
Easy peasy. We created some pre-made files for you so that you can make your own wooden clamps. Open them in G-Sender, run them in G-Sender, set up your material, and you've got yourself a whole bunch of handy-dandy work holdings that are less likely to cause you stress when you run your router into them by accident. We have made these out of 3/8 or 1/2 inch plywood for my super Canadian friends, which I probably should be one of. It's 9.5-ish millimeters or 12.7 millimeters. The really awesome part about this is you don't need to have a full 4x8 sheet of plywood laying around to do this. I made all of these out of scrap pieces I had laying around the shop from odd jobs here and there. It's probably why most of us woodworkers are hoarders, because you never know when you're going to need it. The files have been set up to cut with 1/8 inch end mill. You can probably use a compression bit too. I didn't experiment with them, but maybe I will. And last but not least, if you want to explore further the design of these, tweak them, make them your own. I've taken a few of these clamps and made them a little bit longer. We're also going to include links to the OnShape software. I guess it's an online software you can go and modify what we've given you as an open source file. So if you feel the need and you feel the fancy to go and find out a little bit more and tinker, we're going to give you that. If you just want the files and you just want to cut them out and be done, we're going to give you those too. The way I've got the G-code files set up is that they will do the inner paths first, which are all these pink dotted lines, these couple little bolt head ones for the different style knobs, and then the outer parts, all of those guys. If you are going to make your own and you're importing your own DXF into Vectric or whatever software you're using, just make sure you leave enough space around whatever you're carving out for either screws or clamps, whatever work holding, ironically enough, so that when your router's going around and cutting these things out, it's not bumping into them. After you download and create whatever file you're using, you can run over to G-Sender. This is, again, the giant file that I've loaded up here. Get your material, whatever thickness that you're using for plywood, on your table. I typically put down an eighth of an inch spacer just to make sure I don't destroy my wasteboard completely. That's what it's there for, but the longer it lasts, the longer I don't have to replace it. So let's try and keep it pretty. Like I said, once you've got your file loaded in G-Sender, you'll zero out your router. You'll throw on your dust shoe and your dust collection if you've got it. I will be leaving mine off for this video just so you can see this thing as it's carving. Otherwise, it's not as much fun. It does make a pretty big mess, so if you got a dust shoe, use it. Once it's done carving everything out, I'll probably just do like a time-lapse video of me putting it all together, because it's pretty simple. We tried to make it simple. We tried to make it fun. We basically, we're giving you the files. All you got to do is supply the machine and the wood and have a good time with it. So I'm going to let this thing rip. Alrighty folks, we have all of our pieces cut out, sanded. I'm going to give you a really quick rundown on how to put them together. They're pretty simple, but just to clear up any confusion, you should have most of the parts already. T-bolts, you should have some of those laying around from other clamps. If you don't, you're going to have to buy them. We're going to need some washers. Those go with your bolts. And last but not least, you will need some of these little 5mm threaded inserts. Those are going to be pretty handy. I'm going to show you how they go. So the first thing we're going to do is take care of this basic work holding. We're going to grab this guy. I don't have a nickname for him yet. Maybe this is the tongue, actually. That's the tongue. We're going to grab a Pac-Man. Num num. We're going to slide it on and whoop, throw it around and slide it on. Make sure that you have the small sides in the same spot and the big sides in the same spot. That's so you can use it this way or this way. With this basic work holding, we're going to grab what I call the threaded knob in the individual file and a threaded insert, ironically enough, and we're going to drop some more things. You're going to grab your Allen key and insert and just start twisting. Twist the wood, twist the Allen key, twist them both. Play Twister. It's not going to be the same fun. Here we go. Eventually it will stop twisting and you will have yourself a threaded knob. From there, you grab a T-bolt. Slide it up through the tongue. Can you see what I'm doing here? There we go. And we're going to grab a washer, slide over top. Another little hint, I found that the way that you twist these guys, the threaded inserts, into the knobs, I am apparently a gorilla, and when I tighten these down, I've noticed that if you tighten them right side up, the wood can actually loosen when you're loosening them. If you use them upside down, you're tightening them more and the wood doesn't tend to loosen. You probably don't need to crank down on them the way I do, but again, a bit of a gorilla. I want to make sure my stuff doesn't move. I digress. So we put that guy on upside down or right side up, whichever you prefer. Grab your work, use your tongue, and ta-da! Phase 1 of our work holding. Phase 2, I'll leave that guy there so we can see it. I'm going to skip over to the hockey stick. You'll see why after. The hockey stick already has 3, or you can use 4 threaded inserts on it. I didn't figure you guys needed me to go through that again. So you slide them in there. And look at this, I got the other one in the way. Look at me go. So you're gonna tighten these down. If you want this to be square to your workpiece, make sure you grab your speed square and square it to your table and your T-tracks and everything. If you don't care, because it's just a demonstration like I am right now, just tighten it down where it is. You will now see that when your piece is in there, you get your nice square here. That's why it's probably important to be square to your table or to your CNC and making sure that everything's good, because what's the point in using this one if you're not gonna be square? Last but not least is the toe clamp. We're gonna grab all of our pieces that I just shoved off to the side. Ooh, pretty simple assembly. The first thing we're gonna do is grab the crown, as I'm calling it, because it looks like a crown, and every crown needs to have some jewels. So you're gonna grab another threaded insert, pop it in there. It does not matter which side you put this on, it is universal fit. And you start twisting. I've clearly done this like 6 times because I keep on making mistakes. There we go. Crown with our jewel. From there, we are going to grab one of the sides. There's 2 of these, one for each side, ironically enough. You're going to take the toe, this guy, and we are going to, I keep doing this backwards to me, but maybe forwards to you guys. Anyway, ta-da, in there. Pretty simple. Again, because my plywood is a little bit off the actual size, a little thinner, it slides really easily. Not the end of the world. Grab your other side, put it on the other side of the toe. So you should kind of have this kind of look, and this thing can kind of slide back forth. The next thing you're going to need is the Luke Skywalker spaceship. It is going to slide in just like that. Easy peasy. Again, for my 3/8 versions of these that I did on my own, I had to use a little bit of force to punch it in there. So then you're gonna grab your castle and you're gonna grab the rest of your assembly, which is right here. And I'm trying to see a good angle. There we go. We're gonna take this and we're gonna slot it up in there. Get in there. You will see that in the hole on the top, it's gonna lock in as well, right there. It's now locked in place, good to go. This can slide, that's what's gonna put the pressure on. We're going to grab I'm gonna go to this camera because it shows the detail a little better. We're gonna grab a non-threaded, because we are not using a threaded insert, it just has the bolt head cut out. And you're gonna grab a bolt and you're gonna just slide it in like that, and you will see that if my fingers aren't in the way, that will actually go almost flush. Cool. Then all you need is a nut to thread on there. Just keeps it from popping out on you. Tighten down just a little bit, and that non-threaded one is going to go into the castle. Give it a little twist, and you can see, this might take a little while. Can we actually get in there and see it? Let's see. Come on, baby. There it is. Starts to come through. There we go. And because I knew I was going to need this to show this off, because this is the beauty of the toe clamp, put our piece back in place. I already have a T-bolt sitting right here. We're gonna go through the toe, through the top of the clamp. We're gonna throw a washer on top, another threaded knob. We're gonna just spin it on there. So again, our work can't move this way, but it can still move this way. So when we push our toe clamp up to it, come on, cooperate. There we go. Okay, you're just gonna fit it on there, kind of nice. A little bit of room is okay, because that's the whole point of this guy. You're gonna tighten down on top. That keeps your clamp from moving, right? And your clamp doesn't move, and then you're gonna tighten it. See how my wood's moving? There we go. Give it a little crank, and now, Worksholding complete. 3 clamps, super useful, super easy to make, repeatable, destroyable, without destroying your bits. Pretty awesome, if I'm being honest.
That pretty much wraps up our very, very short Worksholding video. Like I said earlier, there's lots of different ways and methods. These are just some common ones that I like to use. So make sure to check out our resources page where we talk a little bit more about Worksholding. We will catch you next time.